In the news tonight, His Majesty meets with dignitaries, tribal leaders, lawmakers and army veterans from Amman and discusses with them issues of concern to the capital in particular and the nation in general.
6 people are killed in 3 separate attacks in southeastern Turkey following the breakdown of a ceasefire between the government and Kurdish militants.
And 7 people die when a boat carrying migrants sinks off Libya's coast, the second such fatal accident at sea within days, while European leaders struggle to find a coherent policy on the refugee crisis. Good evening and welcome to a new edition of the news.
Hello and good evening.
His Majesty King Abdullah met with a number of dignitaries, tribal elders, lawmakers and army veterans from Amman and discussed with them a host of issues of concern to the capital in particular and the nation in general. His Majesty said most challenges facing the capital are in areas of public services, transport and traffic, environment, healthcare services and mounting pressure on public schools, adding that the Royal Court will continue to provide support to ease pressure on these key sectors alongside efforts the government exerts to improve living conditions. The King said the focus should be put on developing eastern Amman areas through striking a closer cooperation and coordination between the government and the army to launch development-oriented ventures in the eastern part of the capital. King Abdullah thanked the lower house of parliament for developing and endorsing the decentralization scheme, stressing that the nation has a lot to do before the next parliamentary elections. On regional affairs, the King told the meeting that the kingdom's ties with Arab countries are very strong and that Jordan maintains close coordination with them on the Iraqi and Syrian issues. He noted that he will visit China next week to explore closer economic ties with the Asian nation and attract investments into the kingdom.
At the same meeting, His Majesty spoke on some social woes, particularly festive firing. King Abdullah made it clear that the state will exercise zero tolerance with those practicing this phenomenon and said he will order security agencies to take whatever it takes to put an end to this practice.
في جدية بالموضوع ومن يوم طالع ما في واسطات ابن فلان أو واحد اللي بفكر عنده منصب راح ناخذ الإجراءات. يعني لا سمح الله ابني بيطلع باحتفال وبيرمي بطلب من الأجهزة الأمنية ياخذوا نفس الإجراءات عليه. أنا شفت الفيديو قبل يومين على الزلمة اللي طخ الولد حرام. فمن يوم طالع اللي بده يروح على احتفال ويسحب سلاح ويرمي راح ناخذ كل الإجراءات. يموت كمان طفل من وراء هالشغلة خلص. فأنا بحكي لكل المسؤولين هون بدي كل الدعم منكم وبطلب من إخواني بالشمال والجنوب نفس الشيء. خط أحمر من يوم الطالع إن شاء الله.
His Majesty King Abdullah discussed with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas efforts to kickstart the stalled Palestinian-Israeli peace process. During the Royal Court meeting, King Abdullah pledged that Jordan will continue its endeavors in coordination with the regional and international parties concerned to remove hurdles blocking the resumption of peace talks based on the two-state solution. His Majesty assured the Palestinian leader that Jordan will stand with all its capabilities and resources beside the Palestinian people in a manner to boost their cohesion and national unity. The King reiterated Jordan's full rejection of unilateral Israeli actions and recurrent assaults against holy shrines in Jerusalem. He said Jordan, as a custodian of the sacred places in the city, will continue the role of protecting Islamic and Christian holy shrines and safeguarding Jerusalem's Arab identity. Speaking to reporters after the meeting, Abbas said the talks with the King were part of the joint coordination with Jordan and had tackled the ongoing Israeli measures in Jerusalem.
There is a need to continue such visits and meetings on many issues that we should agree on and guarantee that we will have one vision. Among these issues is that we are going to the United Nations, what we will say and what we will do. The second issue is that His Majesty has returned from Russia, and there was much talks about the issues of the region, and we should have a coordinated stance. Third is the situation in the Palestinian lands, mainly in Jerusalem, that's facing Israeli schemes. We will coordinate our steps, and His Majesty is up to this task. We are working hand in hand to protect Jerusalem from Israeli schemes against the city.
Meanwhile, and on the ground, several Palestinians suffocated by tear gas, while 2 others were detained by Israeli soldiers who quelled a non-violent march outside the West Bank town of Beit Jala, north of Bethlehem. The Palestinians were protesting ongoing Israeli construction of parts of the Israeli segregation barrier on the town's lands that had threatened to separate a monastery and convent of the same Catholic order. In April, Israel's Supreme Court ordered the military to draw up the new routes for the planned section of the barrier in the area. But despite the High Court ruling, Israel resumed construction along the disputed route early this month. Israel considers the monastery to be within the municipal borders of Jerusalem, while the convent and school are in the West Bank.
Our message today is very simple. To Israel, to the soldiers here, to the court that made the ruling. Our message is, this land is ours. Whatever you ruled, whatever you decided, you are deciding by the force of wars and weapons, and this is illegal.
The United States and its allies staged 20 airstrikes on Daesh targets in Syria and Iraq over the past 24 hours. A statement by the Combined Joint Task Force said 13 strikes in Iraq included hits on a large tactical unit, a heavy machine gun position, 7 buildings, 2 heavy machine guns, and a weapons cache near Biji. Other strikes in Iraq hit targets near Habbaniya, Ramadi, Sinjar, and Tuz. While in Syria, 7 attacks included 1 on 3 fighting positions near Al-Hawl, a strike on a Daesh facility near Al-Riqa, and 4 strikes near Kobani on 2 tactical units, 3 excavators, 5 motorcycles, 3 structures, 2 guard shacks, 2 excavators, and a vehicle.
In Iraq, the authorities unblocked a street in Baghdad's Karada district following a decision by Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi to improve access in the capital. Prime Minister last week ordered security forces to ease access to the fortified green zone and main streets in an apparent bid to improve daily life for ordinary Iraqis. The capital and many southern cities have witnessed demonstrations in recent weeks calling for provision for basic services, the trial of corrupt politicians, and the shake-up of a system riddled with graft and incompetence. Checkpoints and concrete barriers have blocked bridges and highways leading to the green zone for years, symbolizing the isolation of Iraq's leadership from its people and wreaking havoc on traffic in the city of 7 million people.
6 people were killed in 3 separate attacks in southeastern Turkey following the breakdown of a ceasefire between the government and Kurdish militants. Fighting between the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, and the military has taken place almost daily since last month. In the southeastern town of Silopi, 1 policeman and 3 civilians were killed and 4 others wounded in clashes with the PKK. And in a separate incident, a group of assailants in Diyarbakir opened fire on police officers, killing 1 and wounding another. Also in Diyarbakir, 1 child was killed and a civilian wounded after an explosive device was detonated as soldiers passed by.
Over to Yemen, where an airstrike from the Saudi-led coalition targeted a bomb-making factory in the northern Yemeni province of Hajjah, used by Houthi rebels to make improvised explosive devices. And in another air raid on the capital Sana'a, a bomb struck near a military base in the south of the city, while in the southern port city of Aden, unknown gunmen shot and killed a senior security official outside his home. The death of Colonel Abdel Hakim Snaidi is the first such killing of a senior security official since Aden was recaptured by pro-Hadi militiamen in July.
Egypt will hold a long-awaited parliamentary election in 2 phases, starting October 18th to the 19th, the final step of a roadmap to democracy that critics say has been tainted by a crackdown on dissent. The first phase of voting was due to begin in March, but the election was delayed after a court ruled part of an election law unconstitutional. The second phase of voting will take place on November 22nd to the 23rd. Egypt has been without a parliament since June 2012, when a court dissolved a chamber.
And another migrants' tragedy. Today, 7 people died when a boat carrying migrants sank off Libya's coast, the second such fatal accident at the sea within days. A spokesman for the Red Crescent in Tripoli said the boat with the illegal migrants sank off Homs, east of the Libyan capital, this morning. No more details on how many migrants on board were available. On Thursday, a vessel packed with the migrants hoping to make it from Libya to Italy sank in waters of the Libyan town of Zuwara, killing up to 200 people. Libyan authorities have arrested 3 people on suspicion of involvement in launching the boat packed with migrants. Meanwhile, Hungarian authorities made a 5th arrest over the deaths of 71 migrants found in an abandoned truck in Austria last week. The latest suspect is a Bulgarian national.
And back here at home, Prime Minister Abdullah Mansour made a surprise visit to the Northern Amman branch of the Income Tax and Sales Department, where he was briefed on the progress of the work and services offered to citizens and investors. During his visit, Mansour spoke to the local people and listened to their opinions in regard to the services they received. He stressed the importance of easing procedures of transactions for investors and accelerating the process of their completion. Mansour called for giving more attention to the infrastructure and facilities at the department and for completing the electronic linkage with related departments and institutions to ensure better and faster services.
It was a royal treat for a group of orphans from the King Hussein Charity Society for Orphans, were joined by Her Majesty Queen Rania in a group cooking class at Beit City restaurant in Jebel El-Webda in Amman. Queen Rania met with the owners of the Beit City, who briefed her about the idea behind the restaurant. Beit City started in 2010 when 3 sisters collaborated to keep their grandmother's heritage alive by passing on the recipes that she taught them to locals, expatriates and tourists. The restaurant also hires local women to help teach cooking traditional dishes and sells a wide range of local favorites and spices. Her Majesty and the children engage in conversation while cooking lunch together, in which the children expressed their desire to visit Aqaba, a request Her Majesty promised to fulfill. The group and Her Majesty even went far as making dessert, and not any dessert, كنافة.
The 28th World Aerobatic Championships in Central France has concluded with the crowning of the world's best aerobatic pilot. The event brought 60 ace pilots together to perform tricky and death-defying stunts using airplanes. The competitors had to follow routines in 3 categories: known, free and unknown programs, and the champion title was awarded to the pilot scoring the highest in these programs. The winner in the men's category was French military pilot Alexandre Orlovsky, taking part in the competition for the first time. Second place went to Russia's Mikhail Mamistov, and third was the European champion Castor Fantoba of Spain. The women's title was taken by the reigning champion Aude Lombrand.
And another one with the official nearby, et une autre avec les officiels à côté.
Second-seeded Petra Kvitova won her second straight Connecticut Open title, beating fourth-seeded Lucy Safravova in the 3 sets in their all-Czech Republic final. Kvitova faced only one break point and held serve throughout to remain unbeaten in 7 career matches against her compatriot, and she won 6-7, 6-2, 6-2, but that's not all, as Kvitova and Safarova will face each other on Tuesday when they start the US Open play. And finally, fair weather continues in most regions tonight, with some low clouds and northwesterly moderate winds. Tomorrow, normal summer conditions prevail in most regions, but it will be relatively hot in the Badia and the eastern plains. Low altitude clouds are also expected, while winds will be northwesterly moderate.
And the Gulf of Aqaba should expect hot conditions with northerly moderate winds and calm seas. Here now is the look at temperatures forecast for tonight and tomorrow. And to close, his reminder of the day's top stories. His Majesty meets with dignitaries, tribal elders, lawmakers and army veterans from Amman and discusses with them issues of concern to the capital in particular and the nation in general.
6 people are killed in 3 separate attacks in southeastern Turkey following the breakdown of a ceasefire between the government and Kurdish militants.
And 7 people die when a boat carrying migrants sinks off Libya's coast, the second such fatal accident at sea within days. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of the news. I'm Ali Tuqan.
And I'm Louis Bakr. Thank you for watching.
Good night.